Hey guys, Luke here with GlockHistory.com, also known as That Glock Guy. Got another stack of boxes to go through and unpack. See what goodies came in today. I have been under the weather, so have not been doing videos. Have not been keeping up with listings, comments, emails, just in general. Spent a lot of time in bed last week. So this guy, I think I know. This is my Gen 2. Let's just check, clear that real quick. There we go. Gen 2, Glock 19. And this one's actually super early. It's an FM prefix, so 2 letters. If you look close there, I can't get a shot. See, there's an Austrian proof mark, frame, slide, and barrel, which only happened in the Gen 1 production and early Gen 2 guns. That one I got a steal on because I don't think anybody knew what it was, so that would be like 1988 production. Well, it's got a date code. If they're proof marked, they have date codes, so ZTD. So 89 production. It was just before they kind of got regular US importation stuff established, and at that point they stopped proof marking the US guns, which was still during the 2-letter prefix run, 89 and 90. But I think if you even got a gun that starts with an M letter, it would not have proof marks. Get an empty box full of peanuts. Drop some there. There are actually a bunch of guys that will say right on their license they will not accept shipments with peanuts, which is just funny to me. I think you're gonna send it back. This is just some more Glock parts. It's a Gen 2 Glock 23 kit. I think I got several of those today. That one's already open. And more peanuts. Oh, so going back, the early Gen 2 Glocks, I'll also point out, which if you've watched, I've got a detailed video up of like the 34-ish different variations of generations. And this is one of the distinctions I make on that. You see there's a little model mark right there. And that only happened on those super early 9mm Gen 2. So they didn't put model marks on any of the Gen 1s. And then once they released the 40 caliber models, they stopped model marking them because it's the same frame. So those are only on model 17, 17L, and 19 in that super early run of Gen 2 production. All right, that's another. I wonder what this one is. Oh, this one is from a 19M. Some police department, I guess, destroyed a 19M, so I got the destruction lot. No idea what that's worth, but I bet it's something. Nice early Glock manual. And I actually bought this one off of eBay, specifically because it has this sticker. I don't know if I can get a good shot there. See, I gotta figure out the lighting. Apologize. The sticker actually says that effective September of '94, new Glocks were only going to ship with 1 magazine. And that was because they just had passed the assault weapons ban. And so they were transitioning over to 10-round magazines, and for a brief period, I don't actually know how long, brief period in '94, they would only ship 1 magazine with a new Glock. and I don't know how rare that manual is. I've only seen it on the June 91 manual. This is going to be hard to display. This is just a poster of a Gen 3 cutaway. Kind of cool collectible piece. I'll have to come up with a way to display that guy. Where can I cut here? So if you looked at the Glock history page, I've got a section up there. Ooh, I cut my invoice in half. That was not smart. And if you were watching, I looked before I cut, and I thought that was just a, well, that's the FFL, the invoice cut in half. Anyway, I've got a section on the website for manuals, and they didn't make a version between 91, June of 91. They used the same manual all the way up until 96, at least in the US. There is a Euro 94 version that I've seen. So it's not an uncommon manual. The 91 is not an uncommon manual, but I don't think there's a lot that have that sticker. So I found one for a decent price. It wasn't like a steal or anything, but so I will probably add that to the website, because I don't know that I've got those in the manual section. I will say this guy was well wrapped. Drop the magazine, clear chamber. This is just a satin stainless Colt government model. And it is a Series 70, so probably 1970s, maybe early 80s. I don't do a whole lot with Colts. I guess I know enough to be dangerous, so I will buy them when they're super, super cheap. I've got a whole bunch of pythons in the safe. But I've got a whole bunch of pythons that I pay between like $1,200 and $1,500 for, so it's just hard to turn them down when they're going that cheap. This pair came from an auction house that I try to follow. I think neither one of them went over $700. So for a older vintage Colt 1911, that's a pretty good deal. This one's actually let's clear it. The Delta Elite 10mm model. Has some little freckling we'll need to clean up, and it has some tarnish on the barrel hood there, but came with 3 magazines and it was less than $700 bucks, maybe $750 shipped. So, and those are actually Colt brand magazines. Very good deal. Don't know if that's an original case. We'll have to do some research on that guy. I just knew at that price, couldn't turn it down. You know, I think I've said this before, but it's so cool that this is a job for me. Like, it feels like I'm just playing with my toys, but this is actually how I make my living. Okay. This is just another Glock 19 COA edition. I've been buying these up whenever possible just because you can't find them. Glock's not making, well, they're not making Gen 5 19s at all. And as of the middle of last year, they stopped civilian sales of the COA models. So don't know if that will ever come back around. I don't know that that'll ever be a collectible piece. But in the meantime, there are more buyers than sellers. So whenever I find those cheaply, I'll buy them. Oh, didn't realize I had 2 coming in. That's another Glock 19 COA. Not too exciting on those. I like the older stuff, but you gotta make a living, and these things sell really well, so good to have them. That's all for tonight. As always, like, comment, subscribe. And again, I plug this every time. If you guys want to support the channel, we actually invite you to go to wcspca.org, which is our local animal shelter here I volunteer with, and donate to the shelter and help us find some good homes for animals. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.